So we all work together. So, but if we weren't around, who's going to help those people? We prevent people from being on the streets. We help prevent homelessness and all sorts of things. Therefore, we strongly oppose the ordinance on religious, cultural, and societal grounds and the effects this ordinance has on the free exercise of religion by Catholic institutions and the Catholic faithful. And what about the Catholic faithful, a Catholic or a Christian businessman or woman? And the same applies to them as well. I've heard some stories that I really don't have time to get into. If you want to hear a quick story or two, I can certainly share those stories with you. However, at a minimum, we would want the additional enhanced religious exemption amendments which we have proposed that guarantee exemption of religious entities as they pertain to hiring, housing, and public accommodation to be included. These amendments would mitigate our opposition. So again, thank you for this opportunity to express our views.
Questions for Father? John?
I may have gotten confused here. I thought that the amendment that's being proposed to this legislation would satisfy what you wanted.
Well, it's not over until it's over. And we've been it's been referenced, the discussion between making sexual orientation a protected class in terms of discrimination based on the provision of mental health services. And our opponents have said, talk about intellectual dishonesty. Our opponents have said we hate gays, we won't treat gays, we won't refer gays for their mental health issues. And that's just not true. We just don't want to provide any services that are contrary to our faith. I mean, this is issue on religious discrimination, isn't it? And and in our struggles over 6 years, there's been agreements on compromises, and then at the last minute, there's no compromises. So anyway, I'm just here to give testimony based on what we need, what we're looking for, but again, it's not over until it's over, until the vote's cast, the amendments in and included. But I've learned, I've been around the planet long enough to know that not to take anything for granted. So that's why I'm here, to express my concerns. I don't know if that answers your question.
Partially, and I just may be confused after a lot of testimony, but you started out making the comment that you're against unjust discrimination and about the moral code for 4,000 years. You conduct yourself, your organization, in a non-discriminatory manner. How does the legislation then detrimentally affect you?
Well, if a couple that's cohabitating, they're a man and a woman living together, and they're not married, they want help with rent assistance. Well, that's against my faith. So two gay people want help with their rent. Same person may need some food or clothing. We give cars away. But again, if we help gay people, of course. And so this isn't an issue of discriminating against any persons. We don't want to be forced to cooperate with any behaviors that are against our faith. And they have been in the moral code for over 4,000 years, since the time of Abraham till the present time. So it's really the difference between a person and behavior, the who and the what. And our opponents on this issue, the who is the what. And for us, we make a distinction between the who and the what, person and the behavior. And there is such a thing as just and unjust discrimination, and we don't unjustly discriminate against anyone, and we're against all unjust discrimination, absolutely and positively.
Maybe if I just ask one other question, then if you were the scrivener of this legislation, or you're the scrivener, would you even write, or what would you do as far as any legislation?
I would include a conscience clause for religious, that not only for religious organizations but for individuals as well. There was, I heard a story of and I don't know where this is, heard it from an attorney who represents one of the hospitals in town, that there was a gentleman who owned a T-shirt company, and so a gay person asked to have T-shirts made for a gay pride parade. It wasn't for a graduation, it wasn't for a sports team, it was, and the business owner said, I don't want to do that. So they got sued. There was a photographer in California, and I don't know the name of the photographer. A lesbian couple wanted photos for their commitment ceremony, and the photographer said no. Sued the photographer, and the judge ruled that you have to pay, that she had to pay the couple, I don't know how many thousands of dollars, and that ruling is being appealed. So where's the religious freedom for individuals? And certainly we ask for protection for religious entities, but what about individuals?
Diana?
Yes, thank you for being here. Did you say that you don't practice unjust discrimination? My question is then, what is just or justified discrimination? Was that the implication?
Well, I'll give you an example. Women priests. In the teaching of our church, priests are, the priesthood is reserved for men. So then for us, for the Catholic Church, it would be just discrimination to exclude women in the priesthood. It has nothing to do with their ability, their intelligence, or the empathy, or any of their qualities. And as far as empathy, women probably are more empathetic. Who does a little boy or girl go to have their strawberry kissed when they skin their knee? They go to mother. And so women probably are more empathetic, but that has nothing to do with the theological reason why women are not admitted to the priesthood. So that's an example of just discrimination. You have a pyromaniac, and you wouldn't want to hire that person as head of your security in a gasoline storage tank facility. So he's had all of us, we justly discriminate every day. If somebody has had 6 theft convictions, you wouldn't hire them to work at the convenience store overnight. But we all discriminate justly, but we are against any unjust discrimination. So didn't think I'd get any theological discussions here in any great depth, but our Lord said marriage is between one man and one woman, and so if a couple came to a priest and said, and this happened in England, there was 2 women came to a parish and said, we would like you to marry us, and he said, well, I can't do that, and there was a threatened lawsuit. Well, that's an instance of just discrimination in terms of the teachings of our faith. So there are many
Thank you
examples.
for clarifying.
Adam?
There's been a couple of references to the interplay between freedom of religion and religious freedoms and and what we're talking about here today. When it comes to an individual basis, if someone were Catholic and they owned a apartment complex and they wanted to subscribe to their faith, would it be, they wanted to make sure that they were being faithful? I guess, would their faith require them to not rent that apartment to someone who's a member of the LGBT community, or does it fall within that category, or how does it get interpreted?
Well, so you're a Catholic and you have a duplex and you live on one side, and so you have individuals that want to rent the duplex, and so you have a couple that are cohabitating, and so you would be cooperating by allowing them to live a lifestyle that is contrary to your faith or any other relationship outside the context of marriage.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, Father.
Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Brad Chapin. Jesus spoke to me today, as did he to Ron Brown, except he told me to come and him not to. So just that I let you know that. I kind of wanted to touch base and kind of talk about how I have a real issue with how there were a lot of people that brought forward religious beliefs today. I think that I'm religious. I think that a lot of people here are religious. I mean, if you want to raise your hand, ask everyone to raise their hand who is religious. You can ask them. I think that a lot of them are gay or lesbian or bisexual, and I think that they believe in rights for us. But I have a big problem with one group of religious individuals that think that they can dictate what other religious individuals can believe and what they should be protected against. Our Constitution protects freedom of religion and freedom of philosophical belief. It is my philosophical belief that I'm gay and that I'm religious, and the Jesus that I believe in, I'm protected to believe in, and I'm protected to believe in the beliefs that I have, just as they are, and letting them discriminate against me is no worse than letting me discriminate against them, and I don't feel that they are being discriminated against, and here's why. I'm not sure what the rates are for gay individuals, but 1 in 12 transgender individuals are murdered. And that's a really emotional thing for me. I am a volunteer for PFLAG Omaha, and I continuously deal with suicide. I know of several people that have attempted to take their lives, and I deal with this every month, sometimes every week, sometimes multiple people in the same week. Legislation like this helps kids to know and people to know that discrimination is wrong no matter what. Each one of you is a member of a protected class. So should we. And kids need to know that when they go to work, maybe not at home, but when they go to work, they will have a job and they will be able to be protected. One particular individual that had to help the family of them, he was a gay boy and he was 11 years old. He attempted to take his life several times, and I have to talk to their family, and I have to try to help them get to people and other people to pick up the pieces of the damage that their Catholic family has had on those two individuals. It's a mother and a son, and she has accepted her son, but her family is not, and his school has not, and his school permits kids to discriminate against him and to hurt him, and I mean, they just say that it's his problem, he's a distraction. I think that it's interesting because there were Catholic people that spoke today, but those were not all Catholic people. I work with several Catholic people that work for PFLAG, and my family is Catholic, and my mom has said to me when I was an 11-year-old boy that no matter who I loved and no matter who I chose to be friends with, whether they were black, white, green, whatever, that I would be accepted. And that's the difference, is that he doesn't have that, and he doesn't have the support of his community. I have made myself part of a community that does support me. And I firmly believe that legislation like this impacts kids when they see this in the media, and I think that that it's the right thing to do. I think that politically you will argue and you will bring up little points, especially when people that are opposing this ordinance, so that you can make it look as if it's wrong, but I know that you know that it's right, that this ordinance is right, and I think that you have a moral obligation to not make this go to a vote because it is a civil rights issue, and I think you know that. Thank you.